Welcome ladies and gentlemen, this is K5 and today we're going to look at the Tiger 1 and we're going to look at a finished piece that I've done especially for my friend Stephen Lum. Let's take a look, shall we? Well, finally I managed to repaint that old grey tank that Stephen had sent me. If you remember correctly, in the last edition of this particular segment, I was reviewing and checking over and looking at paint schemes to try out on this tank. It's taken a while. Lots of time has passed by, but I finally settled on this scheme here. And this is a vehicle from the Battle of Kursk from July 1943, 5th of July to be precise, when the German army decided to try and cut off the bulge that they'd managed to form around the village of Kursk. This particular vehicle is driven around by the 1st SS Panzer Division, or better known as the Liebstandarte, and this is also a Liebstandarte Panzer Grenadier vehicle, so it's perhaps one of the more frantic elements of the SS. So yes, quite a vicious vehicle. Now there's a number of features on this vehicle that I thought I'd incorporate when I did the paint scheme, because paint tells a great story. And this particular story starts in 1942, basically in Africa, North Africa. General Rommel was doing rather well up until the Battle of El Alamein, where he was defeated by Montgomery and had to retreat all the way back through North Africa, all the way to Libya, and hold position in order to get out of North Africa. And during that time, obviously, the Germans were producing vehicles and paint and stuff like that, and paint being the most operative word, because this vehicle would have started life as a grey vehicle, and I kept that the grey element to the vehicle there because, you know, people just couldn't be bothered to paint underneath the wheels. But the sand paint, as it wasn't needed in North Africa anymore, because the Germans had lost so much ground there, they decided to ship it up to Russia to conform to the new regulations for I think it was June 1943, when the German army decided to repaint all their vehicles and all new vehicles in a lighter sandy colour, much like this vehicle here and the one behind. If you notice though, this particular colour is a little bit lighter. It's almost a light tan. It's got, if you see it in the raw, it's got a slight tinge of green in there. So it's basically like a sand yellow mixed with a very small amount of green. But at the time of this vehicle's repainting, they didn't really worry too much about the green and literally slapped on the sand colour paint. And also with the character of this vehicle being a tiger, as you can see there, they've tried to give it a tigerish look with some of those stripes on there, and it is rather striking. Some other features here from the E. This is a Tiger E, and this is an H. Now the H obviously is a later model, and the E we see at the back there lots of air cleaning equipment and pumps and things like that. And by the time of 1944, they managed to get rid of all that stuff and really cut down on lots of excess baggage there at the back. But overall, it was a very nice model to repaint. Didn't have to do an awful lot to it, just literally took the whole thing apart and painted it as I went. And there we go, 55 tons worth of terror on the battlefield. And just a little look into the future is this vehicle here. This is a Tiger 2 chassis, basically a Tiger 2. Everything from the Citadel down is a Tiger 2. And the Tiger 2 is basically the same tank as a Tiger 1, except they've added an extra set of wheels at the back here in order to lengthen the chassis in order to facilitate larger guns. And this particular vehicle is the heavy, super heavyweight 105mm cannon on there with a 3 km range of destruction. Fortunately for the Allies and for anyone that was on the other receiving end of this vehicle, not many of them saw battle. I think only 2 or 3 actually fired anything in combat. Due to their sheer size and weight, they were unable to traverse many of the bridges and roads around Germany at that time. But a vehicle like this would have been primarily designed to shoot up the Russian tanks, because the Russians were offering up the most deadly vehicles at that particular time. And in fact, throughout the course of the entire Second World War, the Russian tanks were a much more formidable foe, despite their lack of command structure, and basically the vehicle itself did the job. The crew weren't too clever. But there we go. I'm sure some Russian soldiers will disagree with me there. They were very brave, obviously, to be going into combat in such dire circumstances. But fortunately, their vehicles held up well. Anyway, there we go. Hope you enjoyed this brief look at this piece, and I hope Stephen enjoys it when it hits his shores over in Jersey. It's K5 saying thanks for watching, and if you want to see any more tank videos, let me know below. Ta-ta for now.